I have brought to the table today 10 interesting phrasal verbs. You would love to learn from them, and yes, go ahead and use them. They are very, very, very powerful learning tools when it comes to being a strong, effective communicator. Water down. Water down literally also means to dilute something. Also, water down, when metaphorically used in language as a phrasal verb, water being the verb here, okay, also means to dilute something. Let's take an example to understand this better. He watered down his discussion, or he watered down his proposal by including certain unacceptable caveats. So, watering something down means diluting something, okay, which actually weakens your position, okay. Let's take another example, okay. We had a very strong recommendation for the company, but it was watered down the minute the company put certain ceilings or certain hurdles in terms of budgets. So, water down means to dilute something or weaken something. Chin up. Chin up essentially means cheer up. So, when you're trying to send a message out there that it's okay, it's all right, don't let this affect you, then chin up is one of the best ways to say it. Okay. So, chin up means cheer up. Let's take a situation here. If your child is down in the dumps simply because he's not performed well in a football match, you should try and cheer him up by saying, chin up, child, it's perfectly fine. It happens all the time. You will do better next time. Or if you are in an office situation, if you're at your workplace and the boss has been particularly hard on a colleague that day, and your colleague is not feeling that good, simply because he got, reprimanded, then you can cheer up your colleague by telling him, chin up, buddy. It's perfectly okay. You'll do better tomorrow. Imagine a hole and you're actually pulling out a piece from it. That means carve out. Okay. So, carve out means you have a hole, okay, a complete picture, and you're trying to actually take a part of it and make something of it. That is carve out. Let's understand this better. So, if you are trying to make a successful career in a particular field, then you're carving out a career for yourself. Or if you feel that the organization is running, 10 different businesses or 10 different offshoots of businesses, and you want to, create a niche for that particular company in a particular area, then you're carving out a niche for yourself, okay. And if you are living under the shadow, okay, so let's take the example of Amitabh Bachchan and Abhishek Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan is a legend, we all know that, okay. Abhishek Bachchan is trying to carve out a position for himself, okay, in the world of Bollywood, okay, under the impressive shadow of his father. Own up. Own up means taking responsibility. So, whenever my son doesn't do well in something, I always tell him, own up, take responsibility for it. That is the first step to try and fix it. So, owning up to something is probably the first step in the right direction. Suppose you're an employer and you have a team of 10. That particular day, 5 decided to call in sick. Well, sounds unusual, but not something that we don't see very often. The remaining 5 who are present need to step up. Step up means whichever position you are at, you actually elevate yourself and take on a higher role for the day. Rising to the occasion is stepping up. So, if that particular day your employees who decided to turn up to work, you know, tell you or assure you that, look, we'll take care of things, we'll look out for everything, we'll look after everything. So, they are essentially rising to the occasion or stepping up. Weigh in. Weigh in means you're giving your two bit of information, or in any conversation where two people are, discussing, or a larger audience or a larger group is discussing, you are giving your input. So it goes in this manner. I would like to weigh in my thoughts on this particular topic, which means you're asking or seeking permission to share your input. Okay. Or if you use it in the past tense, he often weighed in when it came to operational matters of any discussion or any task. Okay, so often he gave his inputs, he often weighed in. Chime in. Chime, the word chime actually has a musical connotation to it. This actually has a very different kind of a meaning, and chime in means that you are agreeing with someone in a harmonious way, but when in usage you are trying to use this. Okay, suppose two people are having a conversation, and suppose I say, suppose I and someone else are having a conversation, and they end up saying something, and I say it is very difficult. Okay, and soon after there is a voice by my side, maybe a colleague, who says, okay, impossible to do. So I said it's very difficult. The person chimed in, it's impossible to do. So in a way, harmoniously agreeing with me, but also interrupting the conversation. So this is the exact meaning of the word chime in: interjecting a conversation, but also possibly adding your two bit, okay, which gives voice to the argument that someone else is making, agreeing with someone else. Okay, let's take some more examples of sentences. This meeting went on for hours, and occasionally Ram chimed in with his inputs, which meant that occasionally he possibly supported with some inputs from his end. It's time to level up. Level up means basically do something that will kill the disparity or the difference. So if you are having a heated exchange, a debate with someone, and you feel you're lagging behind, in the next round you need to level up so that you bridge the gap. Take the example of a match. Okay, somewhere around break time you realize that this is, a do or die situation, and the round which will follow is where you need to level up. Otherwise you are never going to be able to kill the disparity between the two teams. Okay, so level up means, it means essentially increase of something: energy level, enthusiasm, more work, whatever it takes to bridge the gap or kill the disparity. Last two words for phrasal verbs. Okay, fill in. Fill in has two meanings to it, and those would be the ninth and 10th phrasal verbs, which I will teach you as a part of this exciting lesson. The first meaning of the word fill in is substitute. So suppose I am leading a call and I quickly need to, step out for some urgent activity. So I can just ask my next in line to say, I can ask my subordinate to say, go, I can call him and say, just fill in for me on this call till I come back. Okay, so fill in means substitute. Or for that matter, you are working in a departmental store and you're handling, a queue of people because you're behind the counter, handling the billing section, and you want to take a break. You can call a co-worker and say, why don't you fill in for me while I quickly step out for my break? Okay, so fill in means substitute. Now the 10th and the last phrasal verb is fill in itself, but the meaning drastically changes. Okay, if I say fill me in on this discussion so far, means I'm seeking an update. Okay, or I'm telling someone, please fully update me on this topic. Okay, or if I say that, why don't you fill in your colleague on all of this discussion, I'm trying to tell my other person at the other end with whom I'm having a conversation to go ahead and update his colleague further on the entire discussion. So fill me in or fill you in on this discussion essentially means completely update you. On that note, I would say if you want to level up your communication, if you want to give that necessary spin to your vocabulary, go ahead. Use these phrasal verbs which I have explained in depth in my video. And also, yes, make it a point to share your inputs, your sentences in the comment section. Do like, subscribe, and share our channel with a wider audience if you are enjoying what you're learning from us.